one and all, respected delegates, participants, and stalwarts who have joined this 5 days online national level faculty development program on empowering educators' mind. This FDB has been organized jointly by Maharashtra Commerce Teachers Association and Achievers College of Commerce and Management, Kalyan. The Maharashtra State Commerce Teachers Association was formed in 1985 with its first conference at Dharanggaon near Jalgaon under the leadership of Dr. G.M. Talhar, the founder president of FDP. To highlight more about this, I would also like to call G.V. Chitole sir. He's the General Secretary of MCA to give the welcome.
You want me to start, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. The chief guest, resource person for today's session, Dr. Bhivandikar, the organizing team of Dr. Bhivandikar, and dear participants. At the outset, I am thankful to Dr. Bhivandikar, who has taken initiative to organize this kind of a 5-day faculty development program on behalf of Achievers College Kalyan and Maharashtra Commerce Teachers Association. Friends, it was a discussion in the meeting, last annual general meeting of Maharashtra Commerce Teachers Association at Sangamner Conference. Dr. Bhivandikar came forward on the topic how to develop a teaching pedagogy by the teachers and how their teaching can be effective in the class, specifically the commerce teachers. And my dear friends, please keep in mind that nowadays the students are very smart. Technology has made them more smart, and for any kind of a topic, any kind of a maybe session, when teacher is delivering session in the class, sometimes it so happens that some students may know more than what we know as a teacher, and it should not so happen that there are students who are thirsty in the class, they need a knowledge from us, and we are not able to provide adequate knowledge to those thirsty students. They need the kind of expertise from the teacher, and we are not able to provide that. Of course, there are number of speakers grouped in by Dr. Bhivandikar, and every day sessions they will guide to the faculty members who have enrolled for this faculty development program. On behalf of Maharashtra Commerce Teachers Association and Achievers College Kalyan, I welcome you all and I wish you good luck for the 5-day faculty development program for the teachers who has organized by all of us on behalf of 2 organizations. Wish you good luck and thank you for patient listening. All the best.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your kind words and gesture. I would like to call Principal Dr. C.A. Mahesh Bhivandikar, sir, of Achievers College of Commerce and Management, to highlight about today's and the entire 5 days FDP. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Harsha. Good afternoon to each one of you. Honorable Dr. G.Y. Chitole, sir, from Maharashtra Commerce Teachers Association. Honorable speakers of the day, Principal Dr. Deshpande, sir, Dr. Basavaraj, sir, all stalwarts in the profession, and my dear participants. It's indeed a matter of great privilege to host this faculty development program, other 5 days faculty development program for the technical team. Can you focus camera? Change the focus of the camera, please. Sorry, I welcome all the participants and all stalwarts in this faculty development program. Sir, it is observed that faculty development programs or teachers trainings are organized only for aided college teachers, and many of the unaided college teachers are deprived of some kind of training or some kind of inputs for their own improvement and betterment. So it was matter came before the annual general meeting of Maharashtra Commerce Teachers Association, wherein we have initiated the action plan to train teachers of unaided colleges. And I am happy, or rather pleased, to announce that the Honorable Shivare Sir, Shitole Sir, and all members, management committee members, have accepted our request and immediately granted a permission to host this FDP. Friends, teachers are lifelong learners. To become dynamic in the teaching field, we have to educate ourselves. Education will develop our skills or methods of delivery of the lectures and whatever we offer to the students. So we need to motivate teachers because we have to face now NEP 2020, and many challenges are ahead that teachers must be trained so that they will be able to deliver. This workshop aims to encourage teachers for self-sustainability. Teachers be able to understand the problems in the context of their own organization or college, universities, all surrounding higher educational institutes or rather society. This FDP will definitely benefit teachers to improve their teaching learning effectiveness and set appropriate goals in each sphere of the life. This FDP is designed in such a manner that it not only includes only academic part of the or part, rather it will include your personal goal setting in the field of teaching and learning. Personality of teacher shall be at the top. Then setting up incubation center in your own college, or ethics and ethos of the teacher, or work-life balance in the life of a teacher. And today's, like opening batchman is Principal Dr. Deshpande, who will be delivering speech on academic goal setting. Friends, in teaching learning or in rather college, we are so busy that we fail to personalize or fix our own goals in our life. So, in this, era of knowledge creation, or in this mission of 20 teachers, I take pride to host this FDP in association of Maharashtra Commerce Teachers Association, and once again welcome you all for this prestigious faculty development program. Rather, suggestions are also invited at the end. At the end of the session, there will be a feedback form which need to be filled and sent immediately within 1 hour of the session. So with these words, I once again welcome you all to this faculty development program and wish you all the success and all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you very much, and over to Harsha. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. With the unavailability of some of our delegates, we would quickly move to this technical session. Before that, let me formally close this inaugural by giving a vote of thanks. I would like to thank Maharashtra Commerce Teachers Association for collaborating with Achievers College for this wonderful 5-day FDP. I would also like to thank our principal, Dr. C.M.I. Bhivandikar, sir, along with him, the advisory committee that is being appointed for this FDP. I would also like to thank the entire organizing committee of Achievers College for giving us an opportunity to attend such a wonderful FDP that it is going to be. Thank you so much. We'll quickly move to the technical session. Is that okay, Chairman, sir?
Please go ahead. Harsha madam, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. So before beginning the technical session officially, I request the technical team to play Saraswati Vandana so that it is an auspicious start to the wonderful FDP that we are going to experience. Thank you so much. Let's begin with the session. The session one of the FDP is academic goals setting for teachers. And let me call upon Ms. Neha Tripathi, Madam, to introduce our today's resource person and guest, Dr. H.V. Deshpande, sir. Over to you, Neha, Madam.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes,
I'm
yes.
Miss Neha Tripathi. It's my privilege to introduce today's resource person, Principal Dr. H.V. Deshpande, sir. Sir is a founder member and working president at Sindhudurg Sahitya Sangh at Sawantwadi and also a secretary All India Marathi Sahitya Sammelan at Sawantwadi in the year 1978. Sir is a member of Thane Academic Council and Faculty of Arts at Shivaji University at Kolhapur. Sir is also a president at University English Teacher Association at Kolhapur. Sir is a recipient of two Olive Reddick Awards for research by Indian Association for American Studies at New Delhi. Also a recipient of Gunwant Shikshak Puraskar at Shivaji University at Kolhapur. He has awarded for state recognition for excellence in NSS work. Sir is a EC member at Indian Association for American Studies twice. Sir is a state secretary and EC member of Indian College Forum at New Delhi. Sir is a recognized guide PhD research, also a referee for PhD thesis. Sir is a NAT assessor and he has 45 years of teaching experience at degree, post-graduation, MPhil level. Sir has edited some publication and also published papers in Indian and foreign journals. Sir is a member of IQAC and also a member of governing body of Mahavidyalaya Kolhapur and Autonomous College. Sir has wrote so many books. Sir, we are very happy to hear in this platform. We are eagerly waiting to listen words of wisdom from you. I would like to hand over charge of this session to you, sir. Sir, we welcome you.
Friends, at the very beginning, I would like to express my sense of gratitude to the organizers of this faculty improvement program. I especially express my thanks to Principal Chitore and his team for inviting me to have some meaningful dialogue with all of you today. Friends, we people in Kolhapur, we still feel that the online PPT presentation is a kind of circus to us. I don't know again what will happen in the next half an hour, 1 hour or so. Let us see what happens. Friends, the topic is deceptively simple. It is pregnant with great academic challenges recently posed by the new higher education policies of 2024. I am not talking about 2020. I am talking about 2024 because almost every week we people receive some instructions either from UGC or from the Department of Education, Central Government, Delhi. And therefore, the speed is very great. And I hope, or I predict, the speed of issuing the instructions to the higher education institutions will be accelerated in future also. The greater the speed, the greater the challenges before the teachers in higher education institutions. Friends, the situation is entirely full of great challenges. And we cannot and we should not escape from the challenges. And therefore, I dare to enter where the angels fear to tread. Next. I want to be very brief, to the point, and yet to be comprehensive. And therefore, I divide the entire topic into 5 small sections. So the first section is new environment of higher education in India. Unless and until we understand something about the very new ideas and new efforts, we may not be able to play our own part in this game. And therefore, some important features of the very higher education scenario in India is entirely essential at the very beginning of this discussion. Objectives of academic goal setting for teachers in higher education institutions. Unless and until we understand the area in which we are going to operate, we have to understand the very objectives of academic goal setting for teachers. And then we come to the very areas of academic goal setting. And fourthly, we come to the academic challenge of the NAC white paper. I again repeat, today I am going to focus my attention on the very suggestions made by the NAC white paper, because these suggestions, they are not only suggestions, but henceforth in the very immediate future, we are required to face the very challenges made by the white paper published by NAC. And then lastly, number 5, I am going to talk about the accountability, the demand of the nation. I hope within these 5 short sections, I shall be able to deliver what I want to say today, and we shall discuss these things again afterwards, if at all the time permits. The new higher education environment is like this. So, the newly proposed higher education reforms are unprecedented in the history of higher education in India. There have been a number of committees and there have been a number of commissions on higher education. And the very series of commissions and committees, thank God, at least this kind of phenomena is coming to an end, I hope so. Because henceforth, there will not be any kind of need to establish new commission for education or any new committee for the implementation of the new higher education policy. And the Kasrirangan committee and the present formula, which is set by the central government, so that will be the very final system in our India, so far as higher education is concerned. To be very brief, just next, higher education is divided into 4 parts. First, regulatory council, then accreditatory council, then grant council, and then general education council. So these are very important councils, and this is entirely a new setup. In the past, we have not seen anything of it. Even though we have some experience of NAC, now again the NAC will disappear, and NAC, that new NAC, will come into force. And therefore, these 4 very important sections of new higher education policy are very important. Moreover, there will be the state educational councils. I think it is a matter to be seen in future, in the near future, how again the state councils of higher education and the new higher education council at the center, how they will react, how they will cooperate, and how they will, I think, take forward the entire new mission of higher education in India. Then there will be neither affiliating university nor affiliated higher education institution. So that is the ideal thing, so far as the new education policy is concerned. So by 2035, there will not be any affiliating university or there will not be any affiliated college. And all the higher education institutions in India, they are divided or classified into 3 parts. Number 1, the research universities. In those universities, only research will be conducted. and that research will be the research on the global level. So that is the idea. Secondly, there will be universities, both teaching and research. Both the things they will be there in the very universities. And the third is the autonomous colleges. I think this is entirely a new thing. And by 2035, we shall have entirely new scenario so far as higher education in India is concerned there. So there is a special provision of National Research Foundation. The proposed setup of Indian higher education is not as easy for implementation as it appears to be. Even in the research foundation, there are so many, I think, ups and downs. The original formula of a research foundation, the Indian National Research Foundation, and the changes made by the bureaucracy in the formula, I think one has to go into detail and to find out how the changes are there and how the changes are posing some challenges to the teachers in the higher education institution. And therefore, so far as the present situation is concerned, people like me, they feel that it is a great challenge. And the ideas which are now on the paper, how to bring these ideas into practice and for achieving this, I think, very gigantic goal, the role of the teachers in higher education institutions is very, very significant. In that context, I am very happy that this, I think, Achievers College has, I think, organized such a kind of seminar to, I think, spread the awareness of the challenges before us. Then we are determined to face the impediments and hazards in the very way. And therefore, we have to prepare ourselves. And for this kind of great preparation, this faculty improvement program will make some kind of contribution, I am sure. And therefore, I again thank the organizers there. Next. The most significant features of the new higher education policy, they can be summarized like this. Number one, revival of Indian knowledge system. I think it is deceptively simple. Up to this time, we have been influenced by the very foreign policies, higher education policies, and the decolonization of Indian higher education will be started, I think, from this year perhaps. And therefore, this is entirely a new era. And in that era, we are going to identify ourselves. And just to self-identification is the major objective of this new education policy. And therefore, we have to revive the Indian knowledge system. Up to this time, under the influence of the very foreign rule, we could not look at ourselves. We could not see what treasure is there. I think our ancestors have given to us. And therefore, looking back to the Indian knowledge system, that is a very important, very significant feature of the new higher education policy. Then value education. Friends, the social political ethos prevailing at this moment in our country is entirely known to you. And the main reason behind this kind of very sad political ethos at this time is the very lack of the sense of values. And therefore, the new education policy gives some emphasis on the value education. Even the NAC is also, I think, after achieving this kind of objective there. Then interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary academic approach is there. And therefore, the silos in the higher education system, they will be completely vanishing henceforth. And we have to enter into the very new era of multiple choice, then again interdisciplinary syllabi subjects, multidisciplinary subjects syllabi, and again also research in multidisciplinary areas. And therefore, this is the kind of new feature of higher education policy. Then credit bank system. For the first time in India, we are going to implement this credit bank system. And now so many higher education institutions have started working on it. And I think probably by next year, this kind of system will be well established throughout the country, and our students will have the credit bank facilities there. Then entry, exit, and re-admission in the academic program. This is also a kind of unprecedented and unseen, unexperienced experiment here. So any student can enter. Then he will continue his education for 1 year. And if at all he wants to quit, he can quit. And if at all he wants to come back to the same educational system, he will come back to the system again. And therefore, if he completes 1 year, the certificate will be given. If he completes again the 2 years, that certificate will be given to him. And if he completes continuously the third year, then he will be given the degree. And then there is the provision for fourth year also. So 3-year degree and 4-year degree, these are the very new inventions, and we are going to implement that. Online learning will be the very significant feature of new higher education in India. Then combination of skill-oriented programs and courses with ICT and vocational courses. I think that we have not seen so far. And this combination is a kind of challenge before the teachers in higher education institutions. The combination of skill-oriented programs, then with the ICT and vocational courses. I think still today, the idea is entirely, but again, after 2-3 years, we shall be implementing all these things in our own higher education institutions there. And most significant of all, the next white paper. I'm going to, I think, talk about the very white paper after some few minutes. Then there are two more important things. Number one, workplace diversity, and secondly, workforce diversity. So workplace diversity means if you want to have some kind of employment at the global level, so the selection will be from the persons all over the world, and therefore the competition is greater, and therefore it is very, very difficult for our students to be selected when there is the world competition there. And you can work again from your own home, and again you can contribute your might to the very great industries, or again a great institution in some other countries also. And therefore, work from anywhere, that will be the feature of the next decade also. And the workforce diversity. So people from all over the world will be employed, and therefore the workforce diversity will be the very important or significant feature of the new global order. I think if we consider these things, how to, I think, compete in the very global world order, that will be a challenge for all the teachers in higher education institution, and we have to set goals to achieve all these things there. Then I come to the very second topic, the second part of it, the objectives of academic goal setting for teachers in higher education institutions. The main objective is to transform the nation through higher education. The new higher education policy is meant for that. And therefore, we have to transform the present scene into the very ideal situation. And we want to be a world power, global power there. There are some people, they talk about the very world guru or something like that. This is not the stage yet, but we are going towards that goal, the goal. And therefore, if we want to create our own world power, then that will be achieved only through higher education. And therefore, if the dream is to be a world power, the success of the dream will largely depend on the might and ability of the teachers in higher education institutions. And therefore, this is the objective before us. And therefore, we have to set our objectives just to achieve this kind of very, very great goal before us. Dr. our Prime Minister, ex-Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, then Dr. Sam Pitroda and Sri Satya Sai Baba, they have given us some dictums, 3 dictums. And these are 3 dictums, they are at the back of the objectives of higher education in India. And therefore, what they say, we can briefly account for that. And therefore, apart from these 3 great stalwarts, our beloved ex-president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he has also, I think, dreamt the very future of India. And he has suggested some ways and means for that. Being a missile man and being a great scientist, what he says is very, very important. We shall, I think, look at the words of these great stalwarts there. So, number 1, creating a synergy of academia with research, research with industry, industry with economy, and the economy with well-being of the people. I would like to, I think, emphasize the last 3-4 words here. Well-being of the people. So this is deceptively simple, and this phrase, well-being of the people, it is entirely picked up by the white paper published by NAC in 2022. And therefore, what Dr. Manmohan Singh said is being now implemented. That is very, very important. And therefore, just see, Dr. Manmohan Singh was a great seer and he was a philosopher of education. And therefore, he says, creating a synergy of academia with research. Just see, research with industry, industry with economy, and economy with well-being of the people. I think that is a very important dream. That is a very important goal before all of us. And we have to achieve it through higher education. And then we come to the next thing, that is Sam Pitroda. Just see here, the world is looking to India to provide leadership because the Western models based on consumption are not scalable, sustainable, desirable, and workable. India needs to provide a new model of development to the world. Just see again how our people, our leaders think about India and Indian higher education. The world is looking to India to provide leadership. I think that is not the very speech of the Sam Pitroda of today. So long back again, before 10, 15 years, so he said that world is looking to India to provide leadership. I think his words are being brought into practice, and we are realizing so how we are going forward in that direction there. So leadership, because the Western models based on consumption, that is very important. If you look at all the models provided by Western countries to the world, so they are basically based on the consumption, and they are not scalable, they are not sustainable, they are not desirable, and they are not workable. And when they are not desirable and workable, we have to, I think, quit these Western models, and therefore we have to come back to the very Indian knowledge system and the global competition at the same time. So Indian knowledge system, it doesn't mean going back to the very Vedic period only and ignoring the very future or again the present. So the Indian knowledge in the past and the global world competition today, they are to be combined together. And this sense is very, very profound for the goal setting of the teachers in higher education institution. And then India needs to provide a new model of development to the world. Who is going to prepare the new model? The farmers are not going to prepare the new model. The merchants are not going to prepare the new model. The politicians are not going to make the very new model. It is the duty and it is the right of the teachers who are working in the higher education institutions in India to provide this new model of development to the world, not only to India, but to the world. This is the very goal setting. This is, I think, the very area. This is the very area where we have to move in future. Academic goal setting should be for providing the nation the required informed, efficient, sincere, and accountable leadership in all walks of life through our higher education system. I think I am speaking about the very large span of the very objectives of goal setting there. Then we come to Satya Sai Baba. I think this is very, very important for me. Either the government must have the capacity to educate and reform the people, or the people must have the capacity to educate the government. Just see what he says. Either the government must have the capacity to educate and reform the people, or the people must have the capacity to educate the government. I request all of you to ponder over the very words of Satya Sai Baba. So what should be our reaction to these words? But the present political, social, and ethical ethos compels the teachers in our education institutions to educate and reform both the government and the people at the same time. Just see again the responsibility on the shoulders of the teachers in our education institutions. For that, the teachers need to set the academic goals. So setting the academic goals is not as easy as it appears to be. And therefore, at the very beginning, I said, the topic is deceptively simple. Then we come to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. I think his words are very, very significant. And we have to march in future according to the very direction given by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the missile man of India and the great scientist of the world. We shall see the new generations of microelectronic devices which will provide unimaginable power to nano, eco, bio, info technologies. I think this is something technical. And those who belong to literature and social science, they will have to understand what he says. So we shall see the new generations of microelectronic devices which will provide unimaginable power to nano, eco, bio, info technologies that will bring paradigm change in the world in a few decades only. And then a new science called intelligent bioscience will be born, which will lead to a disease-free, happy, and more intelligent human habitat with longevity and long and high human capabilities. Then, who will interpret these four dictums more intelligently, if not the teachers in the higher education institution? So all these are four great stalwarts, and what they have said is very, very important. And what they say, we have to interpret these words, I think, with some kind of sense of responsibility. And therefore, goal setting for higher education is not as easy as it appears to be. We have to read these quotations between the lines and set our academic goals to achieve the objectives. Then I come to the very third part of it. The areas of academic goal setting. There are short-term goals to be achieved immediately or even very soon. And there are long-term goals to be achieved later on. But continuous regular efforts are required to achieve them. Some of the known areas are as follows. I think the areas mentioned below, they are known to all of us. But again, I just want to remind you that you have to set the goals to perform these the duties here. Academic goal setting for the annual academic calendar. I need not make any commentary about it because we are all habitual and again we know it very well. Academic planning of the year. Here the planning with the very new syllabi, the planning with new objectives, the planning with new education policy, the planning with new curricula. And therefore here henceforth the academic planning will be a great challenge. It will not be a routine matter as it has been for years in the very past. Yearly academic audit is very important. We all know the very financial audit, but now NAC has come out with some foreign concepts, and these two audits are there. Three audits are there. Number one, academic audit. Number second, administrative audit, and then the green audit. And then again, there are so many other audits also. But these audits are very, very important. For the first time in the history of Indian higher education, such notions and such concepts have been brought newly into practice. Academic feedback management is also very important. I think the new policy asks we people to take into consideration the opinions of all the stakeholders of higher education, even the alumni. And therefore, so academic feedback management is very, very important. What the parents need, what the students need, what they demand, and what we provide them. There should not be any kind of gap between the two. And just to fill up the very gap, we have to establish a continuous academic dialogue with the very parents and the students so that we should not lag behind. Then the review of academic roadmap. Every higher education institution has to set the very academic roadmap. Maybe I think 5 years, 10 years, 15 years there. The things are running very fast. The developments are taking place by leaps and bounds. And therefore, so 25 years plan, very difficult. 20 years, I think, academic plan, rather difficult. But 5 years, 10 years, I think, academic plan and roadmap, it can be done. And this can be done only by analyzing and understanding the global challenges and what other developed countries are doing in this field. And at the same time, we have to keep watch on what other people are doing outside India and what we are doing inside India here. And by taking into account this kind of ethos, the global world knowledge competition, we have to, I think, set our goals there. Then preparing research proposals and planning for patents. Research is entirely linked with the very sustainable development of the country. And therefore, research can be, I think, to solve our daily problems and questions, and again to make ease in our own living. And therefore, the concept of research is very, very broad. And it is not only, I think, the very academic research, not only theoretical research, it is practical applied research also. And we have to plan, and this planning is the objective of, or is the objective for the goal setting for the teachers. Then MOUs with other agencies and institutions. This is also a kind of academic activity, very important in every higher education institution. And while I think signing the very MOUs, we have to, I think, understand the very goals. Then preparing for obtaining autonomy for the institution. Many colleges have not yet obtained the very autonomy. And the speed of, I think, achieving the autonomy is great nowadays, no doubt. But still, a lot of things are to be done. And if at all you have achieved the very autonomy, then we have to, I think, develop the very autonomous college according to the very new higher education policy. And therefore, we require new goal setting, and we have to, I think, strive hard to achieve these new goals. Then planning for institutional ranking at the national and global level. I think very recently we have accepted these ideas here. The first step is to have the national accreditation and the ranking. And the next step is to, I think, achieve some kind of, I think, a high rank at the global level there. Still, some exceptions are there. Some, I think, education institutions are there in the global list. But still, I think countries like Japan and Korea, and again even Malaysia, so they are ahead of us. And therefore, a nation like India has to set the very goal. that we shall stand in the very higher score so far as the very world ranking is concerned there. And then curriculum designing for academic programs, courses, and the certificate diploma courses of the institution. So university curricula, then autonomous college curricula, and then the very certificate courses started by the institution itself. And for that also, I think we have to set goals and set the very curricula, and we have to, I think, just distribute the very certificates and diplomas by the college itself. And therefore, we have to set the very goals for that. Combining skill development of the students with artificial intelligence. I think we have no time to discuss all these things in detail. I think somebody in this session will speak about the very artificial intelligence, but that will create some kind of revolutionary change in higher education henceforth. And therefore, while setting the goals, we have to understand the part that will be played by artificial intelligence in future. Then contribution of every teacher to the institutional quality enhancement, mentorship, placement, extension, attainment of graduate attributes, and the like. I just want to remind you, these things are entirely known to you, and we are preparing for that, so far as our NAC preparation is concerned. But these are the very things for which we have to set the very immediate goals. Then setting academic goals for the advanced and slow learners. That is also a kind of known concept. Goals for innovative, continuous internal assessment of the students' performance. This is again deceptively simple. In every autonomous college, we have to search for the new things for internal assessment, new systems of internal assessment, in which all the objectives will be tested and again will be evaluated in the internal assessment also. And therefore, the goals have to be set so far as the internal continuous assessment is concerned. And then teachers' individual SWOT analysis, that is very, very important. I think one demand has been there, and that demand has not been fulfilled by the government of India. The demand is like this: all the higher education institutions, they are compulsory made to make some SWOT analysis for their quality development, and their quality assessment is done by NAC or again some other agencies there. But there is no system at all which will decide the quality of the government officers and government bureaucracy. So the things which are applied for the higher education institutions should be also applied for the government performance. And when both the things will go hand in hand, then only the objectives of higher education policy will be achieved. At present, it is one-sided game. I personally feel that. And therefore, so the assessment of all the agencies involved in the higher education system, it should not be a one-sided game. And therefore, even the top bureaucracy must be put into test. And their assessment should be also, I think, done by some kind of agency there. Then teachers' individual SWOT analysis is very important. So, what is the strength of the individual teacher? What are his weaknesses? What are the opportunities for his development? And what are the challenges before him? So, in this way, SWOT analysis of every teacher should be done by the teacher himself or herself. Then formative and summative assessment, that is very, very important thing in autonomous higher education institutions. Considering suggestions, recommendations by the alumni for academic development of the institution. And therefore, by taking into account the opinions and the suggestions made by all the stakeholders, we have to create our own goal setting. Then setting academic goals for the development of the department. So it may be Department of Chemistry, Hindi, English, Botany, whatever it may be, Commerce. But every department must have the SWOT analysis. Every department should have this kind of, I think, goal setting for its own departmental development. And the departmental development should be looked after by the HOD and his colleagues in the department. And then goals setting for publication of papers and books, citation index and other things, they are entirely known to you. I don't have any time again to go into detail. Then internship cell of the higher education institution, a recent order by Department of Education, Government of India. As I said, I think earlier, so every week there should be some, there will be some kind of circular issued either by the UGC or by the Department of Education, central government. And very recently, I find that the internship cell should be entirely created in the higher education institution. At the very beginning, I said that it is not as simple as it appears to be. It is deceptively simple. There are thousands of colleges in the rural area where there is no industry at all. There are colleges in the hilly area, there are colleges in the rural areas, and therefore, just to set up the internship cell is not very easy for them. And therefore, internship cell should be established. I think there is no doubt at all. The concept itself is very great. And those colleges in the very cities and again developed areas, the cosmopolitan areas, they can find the very industries there. And therefore, the interaction between the industry and the higher education institution, it can be done. I think the entire process has been started earlier. But it is not yet very, I think, easy for many colleges in India. And this is the order by the very government of India there. Of course, some such things they are going on. Because today or tomorrow, we have to start somewhere. And we should not see that there are some hindrances and there are some difficulties. All right, they are there, but we have to fight and we have to go ahead. Then number 4, the most challenging area of academic goal setting, the next white paper. NAC Bengaluru published its historical document entitled Reimagining Assessment and Accreditation in Higher Education in India. This is a reimagination. And there is a reassessment of NAC itself. Just see what I say. So the white paper is a kind of a profound criticism on the present system of NAC. The people who have published this white paper, they are not at all very happy with the very procedures laid down by NAC today. And therefore, a great reformation is needed in the process of NAC, in the assessment system. And therefore, this is very significant for all of us. It is directly connected with the very goal setting of the teachers in higher education institution. So this document is commonly known as the white paper. Its principal authors are Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan and Dr. K.P. Mohanan. They are assisted by 13 other co-authors, plus 11 first layer reviewers, plus 17 second layer reviewers. I belong to that. And then plus 5 third layer reviewers, and again reviewed and endorsed by the NAC Academic Advisory Committee and the Executive Council of NAC. The 5 third layer reviewers are K. Kasturirangan, Anil Kakodkar, Ashok Modak, Jagdish Kumar, and Vinay Sahasrabuddhe. The total number of the white paper endorsing higher education experts is 91. The paper is unanimously accepted. There is no any dispute at all. So almost all the higher authorities and the great people in the field of higher education, they have unanimously accepted the very white paper recommendations. That is very important. The paper is unanimously accepted by all the authorities and persons in India. The paper has redefined the purpose and function of education. My friends, I would like you to pay attention to these new definitions of function of education and the purpose of education. The colonial concept of the very purpose of education and the very function of education is attached to the very commercial objectives. I think we are shifting from the Western model to the very Indian model. And this Indian model is based on our own convictions. Just see how it is. So, the ultimate purpose of education is the well-being of the individual, society, nation, human species, and the planet with all its creatures. It is a well-being of all the beings on the planet. I think some such definition of ultimate purpose of education has not been discussed so far in India. It is entirely a new thing, thanks to Dr. Kasturi Rangan, because he has set up all these new things, and it is a kind of a very rigorous and very sincere effort for self-identity and discovering what we are. So, human species and the planet with all its creatures. The function of education is to empower the young to strive towards their own well-being and the well-being of their society, nation, the human species, and the planet with all its creatures. Just see again the definitions of education. These definitions have a direct connection with our ancient Indian gospels, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, with the Pasaya Jnan of the Nareshwar, the great, and with the dictum of Dr. Manmohan Singh. I remind you that I have given you some quotation, the first quotation by Dr. Manmohan Singh. There he has mentioned these words, the well-being of the people. These are the exact words used by Dr. Manmohan Singh. So, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, then Pasaya Jnan, and then Dr. Manmohan Singh's well-being of the people. All these things are brought together, and this is the very, I think, the identity. The challenge very difficult to face, presented by the white paper, is in the form of higher order cognitive capabilities and academic intelligence. Friends, as I said earlier, these, I think, two phrases are not as easy as they appear. It's very difficult to interpret the real meaning of these phrases there. High order cognitive capabilities. So the high order cognitive capabilities should be taught to our students by our teachers in our education institutions. And then the academic intelligence is also a thing to be imbibed in our students there. And therefore, the academic intelligence is classified into four broad categories. It is here I find that the great challenge of setting the goals for education institution there. So just see, then there are four categories of the academic intelligence. Academic goal setting and academic intelligence, they go hand in hand. And therefore, those who are engaged in setting the academic goals, they must be engaged in understanding the academic intelligence professed by the white paper of NAC. The academic intelligence is classified into four broad categories: independent learning, reading, comprehension, and communication, evaluation of books, videos, and presentations. I think it is also, I think, very simple to understand. But to practice all these things is not as easy as it appears to be. Then secondly, information and understanding. To assess relevant information, then participate in discussions, seminars, to evaluate evidence, to apply its relevance to the arguments for and against the issue. That means again, the qualities required for a pleader in the court of law. So I think the logical qualities are very, very essential for the very students in higher education institutions. So construction and evaluation of knowledge, capacity to think like a scientist, like a mathematician, like a philosopher, like a doctor, manager, engineer, and like a leader without getting the specialized training. Friends, I am going to quote all these things. These are not the things coming from my own pen. So these things are written, and again they are professed by the NAC white people. I would like to repeat again to bring your attention to the very high order of excellence here. Construction and evaluation of knowledge. our students must be able to construct knowledge and to evaluate the very knowledge. Capacity to think like a scientist, like a mathematician, like a philosopher, doctor, manager, engineer, and like a leader without getting the specialized training. These are the examples. Even though our students are not given such a kind of specialized training for that, they have to acquire the capacity to think like the scientist, mathematician, philosopher, doctor, manager, engineer, and leader. If I think this is the expectation of NAT white paper from our students, then again, what kind of goal setting is required on the part of teachers in higher education, you can imagine. Then number 4. Yeah, I think one thing is very clear. Ability to strip away propaganda, myth, and dogma in search of truth in an age of fake news, the capacity to make rational and ethical judgments and decisions accordingly. I think the words are very simple on the paper. That's just here. The ability should be imbibed in the students in our education institution. Ability to strip away propaganda, myth, and dogma in search of truth in an age of fake news. It is accepted that we are living in the very age of fake news, and therefore the fake news should be completely avoided, and only our students will be able to search for the truth. The capacity to make rational and ethical judgments and decisions accordingly. This is a very significant, I think, expectation here. Then attitudes, values, and habits of mind, including joy of learning, intellectual curiosity with intellectual humility, intellectual curiosity, acquiring the very high knowledge, acquiring the very high capabilities, but at the same time to be very humble. And therefore, without, I think, being any, we should not be, I think, proud of all these things. The humility is very important word here. And detecting logical contradiction, being aware of one's own biases and of uncertainty of human knowledge. I think these are the words used by the very white paper. Just see, detecting logical contradictions in any argument, being aware of one's own biases and of uncertainty of human knowledge. So human knowledge is uncertain. I think that awareness is a very profound awareness, So it is not the fact that every knowledge is entirely true. And therefore, the uncertainty of human knowledge, that is a phrase to be, I think, comprehended on the very large comprehension, and we have to read between the lines. So uncertainty of human knowledge, then democratic mindset in the exchange of ideas and beliefs. All these qualities should be imbibed in our students. Moreover, the academic intelligence includes ethical, physical, social, emotional intelligence, aesthetic and spiritual intelligence. Just see again, this is not as simple as it appears to be. The academic intelligence includes ethical, physical, social, emotional intelligence, aesthetic and spiritual intelligence. All are to be imbibed among the students by the teachers who have to set academic goals for these purposes there. Teachers, therefore, have to define program and course objectives and their intended outcomes. They have to set goals to evaluate and to assess the attainment of the objectives. So only defining the very objectives is not enough. Define the objectives of the very syllabus, the curriculum. Then, so defining the objectives, and they have to set goals to evaluate and to assess the attainment, whether the students have achieved all these objectives and goals or not. And that is to be evaluated. The word evaluated is very important. As that there is no any sound system available to evaluate all these things. We are going for that. We are going to work for that. So the white paper has many other types of academic intelligence. However, all these cannot be discussed in such a kind of a thing program. Thus, the higher order cognitive capabilities and the academic intelligence discussed by the white paper are the great expectations and the great academic challenges before the teachers in higher education. Friends, now I come to the very last part of it. Teachers' accountability, the demand of the hour. The white paper is not a mere abstract ideal pen picture. It is meant for actual implementation of NEP 20. Nay, it is NEP 24. The gap between the high expectations of the white paper and the prevailing academic performance in our education institutions is too wide and it is challenging. Teachers have to set academic goals to fill up it. Henceforth, there will be no place for mediocrity in higher education. Workforce diversity and the workplace diversity. These are the key words in the very modern world. And these words are not simple. So we have to face the challenges posed by these 2-3 words. And therefore, henceforth, there will not be any kind of place for mediocrity in higher education institution. The teachers' capabilities are being tested every day in every academic activity by internet and artificial intelligence and by the powerful electronic devices in the hands of our students. Sometimes the students are academically and technically also ahead of their teachers. This is, I think, a kind of the situation we are experiencing in our colleges and universities. So I would like to conclude by having a very important remark by Dr. J.P. Naik. So once upon a time, Dr. J.P. Naik was asked, why your Kothari commissions were completely a failure? The answer was given by Dr. J.P. Naik, the architect of Kothari Commission. It is like this. So he says, so there are 2 agencies. He says, the Kothari Commission's recommendations were defeated by 2 agencies. Number 1, the Indian bureaucracy, and the second, the teachers in higher education institutions in India. I think this has been narrated by a great educationist in the convocation address of the Shivaji University, Kolhapur. And his name is Dr. Ram Takavle. He has, I think, mentioned the very answer given by Dr. J.P. Naik. And he says that the Indian top bureaucracy and the teachers in the higher education institution, they have defeated the great recommendations of Kothari Commission. I think this is the right time for our own introspection. Today, the Indian bureaucracy is, especially that in our higher education sector, has not at all changed as it is expected by all of us. I think this is a kind of very daring statement, but there are reasons, behind every statement there. But the teachers' brotherhood should not incur on it the same charge again. The same charge made against the teachers in the higher education institutions by Dr. J.P. Naik, I think the same charge should not be incurred by the teachers again. The teachers are expected to be ahead of the bureaucrats. What I say is very important. The teachers are expected to be ahead of the bureaucrats. Hence, their higher pay scales are defended. Now, the teachers have to set their academic goals according to the white paper to refund the nation the amount the nation has paid for their salaries. People call it accountability. Friends, I believe I have not sacrificed brevity to make sure clarity, and I have fairly achieved the both. I wish all the teachers in our higher education institutions best luck in the navigation of NEP 24 storm. Thank you for your great e-presence and patience. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful insights. Indeed, we had a great session. I think everybody else will definitely agree on this. We'll move to the question answer session. If anybody has any questions regarding the session one, technical session of academic goal settings, please go ahead. You all can even drop them in the comment section and I'll read out for you guys. So anybody who has any questions?
Sure, madam. Can I ask a question?
Sure, ma'am. Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Sir, thank you so much for the wonderful explanation. My question is related to academic credit bank system. Like, people are just introduced about that, but how exactly it will be helpful to the student so that can be able to focus on it because student doesn't have a lot on it.
Sorry for interrupting, Kavita, madam. Actually, we can. I think you're not audible. Can you just drop box for sir to read it out?
Yeah.
May I know the question again because I don't understand the question.
Sir, she's dropping the question in the chat box. I'll read out for you to answer. Just give me 1 minute. Meanwhile, anybody else who wants to ask any questions?
Yes. Any other question will do.
Yeah. So the question is, how helpful is academic credit bank system for students? Her question is, how helpful is academic credit bank system to the students?
I think it is really helpful. It is entirely a new idea. And when we accept the admission, exit, and readmission, I think this academic credit bank will be very, very helpful. But at the same time, I would like to say that the sincerity in the account is a problem for the Indian people. And therefore, if at all the higher education institutions, they do the work very, very carefully and sincerely, then there will not be any kind of problem so far as academic credit bank is concerned. But even today, when there is the very internal assessment and again the semester assessment at the university level, I think things are not as per our expectations. And therefore, we have to rectify and we have to accept the responsibility of being sincere and having, I think, the correct account of the very academic bank credit.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else who has any questions? Okay, I think we can move to the session 2 part.
Mr. Madam, please propose vote of thanks.
Yes, sir. Yes. I'm handing it over. With this, let me hand over the mic to Professor Kavita Karamlikar, Madam, HOD of IT Department of Achievers College. She is going to propose the official vote of thanks and announce the end of the session 1 part. Kavita ma'am, over to you.
Deshpande sir, छान झालं lecture, छान सुंदर. It was very informative and elaborative.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Great. First class. Over to Kavita madam.
We have
Thank you so much, sir.
I am fortunate enough to have a constant dialogue with Dr. Guru.
Yes, sir. Yes.
He is my best friend and he is also a teacher.
Yes. Great, sir.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. To the advisory committee as well as to the patrons. and our today's session speaker, when Principal Dr. H.V. Deshpande, sir, from Ajara Mahavidyalaya, Kolhapur. I really thanks to you for the focusing and enlightening the topics of NEP, under which you have given the given about the Regulatory Council, Academic Council, Grants Council, and the General Educational Council. You have given an idea about the National Research Foundation and the credit bank system, how they are helpful to us. And definitely we will follow those things whichever you have mentioned, where we teachers can inculcate all the good things from the particular information. So thank you once again, Deshpande sir, for the guidance and motivation for the NEP to get the information from your end. Thank you so much. Thank you, Harsha madam. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Kavita ma'am. Thank you so much, everyone, for patient learning and patient listening as well. We'll quickly begin with the session 2 part. The session 2 is all about knowledge creation and research publication, a pathway for career building. And our resource person would be Principal Dr. Basavaraj sir. And to introduce our resource person, I would like to call Ms. Saira Banu Sheikh madam to please highlight and introduce our today's research person for session 2.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I, Assistant Professor Saira Banu Sheikh from Achievers College. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce our today's resource person, Dr. Basavaraj Kudachimath. Sir is presently serving as a professor in the Department of Management, Visvesvaraya Technological University, Belgavi. Sir has completed his BCom degree from Karnataka University, MBA in Marketing and Finance from Shivaji University, Kolhapur, MPhil from Alagappa University, Tamil Nadu, and completed his doctorate in 2011 from Shivaji University. He has also a 2-year experience in industry, as he worked for Korompan Grapes of Limited Pen Division, Kanpur. Then he joined the KRCES College of BBA and BCA as a coordinator, and then he became its principal. Also worked in at Bharatiya Vidyapit Institute of Management as an assistant professor, in Bharatiya Education Trust College as an associate professor. After that, he joined Sinhagar Institute of Management and Computer Application. Later, he joined back Bharatiya Education Trust Global Business School as a professor and director. On 28 Jan 2014, he is appointed for a prestigious university, Visvesvaraya Technological University, as associate professor. Sir has also a wide contribution in research work. He has presented more than 60 papers in international and national levels. He has published 10 articles in international journals and more than 20 articles in national journals. Under his guidance, 6 students awarded as a PhD and 4 are under process. He has co-authored 4 books on marketing management and research methodology. He is editor of research of VTV International Multidisciplinary. Sir is actively involved in various activities of various universities in multi-capacity, gracing various seminars and conferences as a key resource person, paper setter, examiner, etc. He is university nominee of BOS, Gopte Institute of Technology, also the Board of Study of member for Rajaram, Bapu Institute of Technology, and KLE, Lingaraja College of Business Administration. He worked as a chairperson Board of Examination Management and worked as a chairperson Department of Management. He served as a director IQAC cell with Visvesvaraya Technological University, Belgavi from 2017 to 2022. Sir has a vast experience teaching in the learning field, and we are fortunate to have a resource person today's FDP. Now, I request Sir to address the audience on the topic of knowledge creation, research publication, a pathway of career building. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Saira Banu, madam. Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, madam. Thank you. Nice of you. Shall I share my screen? Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it is. Yeah.
Okay. At the very outest, I would like to thank Achievers College for organizing this 5 days FDP program on online mode. And I'm very happy that I am a part of it, because the topics which have been selected for this FDP is really awesome. And when Sophia madam called me and asked for the choosing a topic and all that, it was, I think, only 2 topics were left out of out of this. This was the topic which I liked, and I requested, and I was given this topic. I'm very much thankful to you all. I really appreciate the effort of online activities. I will be very happy person to join such kind of program as a participant in online mode. But it is very challenging for me to be a part of that is delivery person on this occasion, because online mode is only talking to just like a mirror rather than having an interaction with the participants. I hope all the participants are hearing or listening to me. Can anybody will just say yes or no? I don't want the organizers to talk. I want some participants. There are 59 people, participants. Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Nice. Say, at the very outest, I would like to take you towards this research activities, research publication. All of the participants in this FDP are the academicians. I think today academic has become a platform of research. As earlier presentation made by Deshpande sir, he was talking about the new education policy, where the universities, education institutions are classified into research institutions, research and teaching institutions and all that. Based on that, research has become an integral part of education system today. Why so much of importance for research activities? And every faculty today is required to compulsorily publish papers, either to be in this education field or get the promotions in this education field, especially in universities and colleges, unless and until you meet certain API requirement, academic performance index requirements, you may not be able to promote it to the higher business. For example, assistant professors must and should have some academic grade points, where research publications have their own weightage. Apart from teaching, learning, and evaluation activities, research and publication must be done by every faculty. So it is a need of the hour. So that is why knowledge creation is possible through research only. Therefore, research has an integral importance, is most important in today's academic section. Earlier, research was conducted by scientists. You might have seen the Newton, who has discovered the gravitation force. Everybody saw the apple falling down, but it was only Newton who asked the question, why it is falling down? Because there was an analytical mind which always thinking in a different direction. Everybody was seeing that the apple was falling down, but he has asked a question, why did apple fall down? Why it did not go up in the air? Because there is something in the earth that led to the innovation of your gravitation force. Based on the gravitation force, a lot of research contributions came out. Today, the aeroplanes, rockets, everything is worked on the gravitation force concept only. The trajectories of projectiles are all calculated. Everything is based on the gravitation force. An element, if it has to go out of the orbit in the form of rocket, if you want to launch, the speed of the rocket should be such that it should be able to go out of the orbit, which should be higher than the gravitation force level. So that is how these concepts came into existence. But today, why education institutions have to should associate with research? Basically, because research is possible for academicians more easily as compared to other people available. The reason is scientists are also today, most of the time, are academicians. Most of the academicians are in the institutions working in a scientific way. So they are also considered as a scientist. You might have seen that Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was a teacher, great teacher. If you take Ramanujan, a great teacher. If you take any person who is invented most of the Jagdish Chandra Bose was a professor. So there is a close association between the scientific innovations and the education institutions, because people who are in the education activities are more connected with the research and development. That is why research and development has become an integral part of our teaching and learning process. One more is, today's best knowledge is going to become outdated shortly. In a very few time, today's knowledge becomes outdated. Therefore, you have to add something to new knowledge, existing knowledge, and make it more new. So, for example, when we talk about the social science, in social science, especially in management, what is the best management tool today becomes the outdated tomorrow, because there are a lot of changes happening in the environment, especially in demography. There is a lot of change happening. So what the research paper tells today, what the research gives the outcome today may not be the same after a few days, because there is a change happening. That is why we need to phase out this. We need to be regularly in the field of research and add knowledge to the existing body of knowledge and make it more effective. That is why the topic which was selected for this orientation program, this FDP program, is knowledge creation and research publication. Say, knowledge creation is a continuous process. As I said, any knowledge that is there is not limited. It is going to expand in days to come. There is a change happening. Old education policy came with a new education policy. Old finance policies of the government changed recently. Old FDA policies were changed recently. Why the change need to happen? Why the government has to change its rules and regulations? Why there will be a change in the policies? Why there is a change in the attitude of the human beings and all that? Because the environment itself is changing a lot. Any stringent government policy, if it is static, doesn't change according to the needs of the people, right? It will not be successful because it becomes outdated. So what to change, how much to change, what to bring the new innovations in that always calls for the research. You might have seen today the GST what has been implemented in the finance sector is the outcome of the research activity only. Earlier tax system is converted into new one where the government is trying to cover the maximum portion of the people under tax regime. Today's income tax policies, everything is based on research. What is research actually? It is a continuous analysis of the existing things and finding out the solutions and resolving it. Normally, research will be called when the academic disruption happens. What is an academic disruption? For example, if the existing knowledge is not possible to be solved, the problem, if it is not possible to be solved with the existing knowledge, we have to conduct a research to address the issues. For example, if a patient goes to a doctor, if a doctor checks with the available system that he has with the stethoscope or with the analytical tools and treats the patient, if the patient is cured, no need to investigate further. Doctor is not required to be a researcher. In spite of giving all the antibiotics and medicines, if the disease is not cured, the diseases like COVID-19, if it is identified, then research is required to be conducted. What vaccine has to be identified for the disease? Therefore, there must be a kind of continuous process of research calls for. Therefore, every academician is need to be a researcher today, because the body of knowledge, the kind of teaching what he's doing is not static, it is every time changing. Therefore, out of the experiences what he gains in that particular area, he should add new things to the knowledge and come out with the research work. Whenever you identify any research and whenever you come out with any research outcome, unless and until it is published, unless and until it is put to the public for acceptance, analysis and reading, I think your knowledge has no any meaning. That is why it is made mandatory. In spite of being a researcher, if you are not a publisher of your research activity, it is totally a waste. Therefore, the one more career path that every academician today is a research publication. So publication is a most essential part of your journey of teaching, learning, evaluation and research. Therefore, you have to find innovations in your field. If you are a professor of a marketing, over a period of time, when you teach marketing subject, you will identify certain areas of research and you need to conduct research and find out the solutions to that particular thing. And if you do that, your involvement in understanding dissemination of the knowledge is identified properly. Therefore, it is one of the indicator how many publications you have made. Based on that, your ability, your performance, your level of knowledge is measured. So now publication has become a measuring tool. Today, nobody asks how much asset you have, how many houses you have built, how many things you have built in academics. We only ask how many consultancies you have, how many research papers you have, how many research scholars you have produced to a professor or a teacher. That is why it is the bound responsibility of all the teachers to be a researchers and have a publishers be a part of the publication activity. Therefore, I really thank for choosing this topic for all the participants in this academic field. There is a word called publish or perish. If you do not publish, you are going to perish. It means that you must and should get involved into publications today as a part of academic activity. As I mentioned already, NAC also, if at all teacher quality is to be managed in teacher quality. So there is a third criteria in a NAC, that is teaching and consultancy, research and consultancy activity, where it is 250 marks as compared to any other marks calculation. All other parts are 100 marks, whereas research and consultancy is 250 marks, where an institution is measured on the contributions made by the faculty members to the field of research. So therefore, every faculty is analyzed based on that. Total index of the research activities of the faculty is taken care for evaluating that particular marks. The consultancy, what you mean? Because only teaching is not sufficient today. You have to provide the support system to the next generations, support system to the other stakeholders. Therefore, faculty should be a researcher and should be a publisher. Therefore, publication is most important. Next. What is publication actually? When the term publication comes to our mind, only we feel that publication is in a research journal only. There are many ways of publications, but research publication is found to be the most qualitative activity actually. Publication is an activity of making information. It is literature, music, software, and other content available to the public for sale or for free. Traditionally, the term refers to the creation and distribution of printed works such as books, comic, newspapers, and magazines. But today, because of online platform, its area is too wide now. Publications are not only happening in print media, even in the soft media also it is happening today. So publication has a more importance. Publication is nothing but you have to disseminate what new ideas you have generated. You have to present it to the open public. So that is an additional effort you need to make. What you know should be made available to others also. Therefore, today there is a lot of publication sector, publication, what you call as press media and all that, they are coming into picture because there is a lot of input that can be given to the public. Therefore, media is acting like that. So lot of research journals have come today. There are n number of research journals. Even for example, the Scoopus Index, if you consider, there are 36,778 research paper, research what you call as magazines, research journals are available in the Scoopus. Like that, if you see Web of Sciences, there are one more 30,000 Web of Science journals you can see. There are many more things in Google Scholar also, it is going to identify based on that. Springer we have. Like that, there are n number of what you call as research journals are coming to help the people to publish their information. So publication is an activity of information, literature, music, whatever is there, you have to present it to people. In case of research is concerned in academics, we consider research publication the most prime important. I don't say that this is the only thing. Even in the music schools and all that, researches are conducted on musical these things. In what you call as software industries, or new softwares are also developed, and many things are being presented, and all they are coming in the research publications also in the form of research activity. If the publication satisfies the following important three conditions, that publication can be considered a research publication. All publications are not research publications, but all research publications are publications only. They are publications. But how do you differentiate between the ordinary publication and a research publication? The first and foremost condition that you to satisfy the research article or research activity is it should be an original work. The study represent the results of the original research. It means that what the knowledge you have created, what the research paper you have created should not have been published anywhere. It should be a new idea, new approach, new thing. That is the first criteria to call it as a research publication. Second one is results reported have not been published anywhere. Then nobody has yet received it. So that should be the original work of the researcher. Next one is the research publication should be based on experiments, statistics, and other analysis are performed to high technical standards and are described in sufficient detail. When you call a research, research is always evidenced with facts and figures. Without facts and figures, research has no any meaning. That is the ultimate thing of it. Many people write article, but if the article is not substantially supported with evidence, whatever you are speaking has no any meaning. It could be an entertainment novel. Entertainment novel or a kind of comics cannot be called as a research publication because it is a hypothetical, not having any evidential substantial. But a research publication which is having a hypothesis in it, if it is proved with the collected data, if it is proved with the substantial experiments, that is called as research report. That is called as research publication. That is called as research paper. Therefore, the writers must be aware of this, that whatever they mention it as a research activity, it should always be backed up by experiments, statistics, and calculations and related aspects. It should be evidence with the facts and figures. If at all I say the population of India is getting educated year after year, if I say this, it doesn't become a research outcome. If at all you want to make this as a research outcome, take the 10 years data of the population literacy level, enrollment level for education, and calculate with a certain kinds of statistical figures like regression analysis, time series analysis, and prove there is a percentage growth happening, then this would become a historical research activity, because your data is historical. You are working with it, you are exploring the old data and trying to talk about that. That is what we call as research activity, research paper. So anything that you mention just in a oral, that is not a research. It should always be backed up by this. So if you see the type of research publications which is available for the academicians today is of 6 different types that you can work with. One is called as review article. Research articles could be even review articles. The literature based on the literature study, what you call as exploring the literatures of the old happenings, you can also prepare new one out of it, which can also be called as review article. Second one would be original article. Original in the sense your own idea that you generate and work on that. For example, recently I have published one article in the journal which has received a lot of appreciations from the readers. The article is talking about work from home and its impact on the organizations, on the organizational performance. You might have seen work from home was not a concept before COVID-19. It was there, but it was very negligible. But after COVID-19, you might have seen a lot of IT professionals and all that started identifying the possibilities of work from home, and they started working from the home. So it has helped to the organization in many ways. One is it has started reducing the cost of operations for organizations. Customer satisfaction was very highest because employees are working from home, and at any point of time, if there is a requirement from the customers, they could be able to support from the home. So this was a very impact created. Nobody has thought of this. So we have made the analysis of all this and presented the data. It has received a lot of this. So what we call is a new idea. Has work from home created any impact on the organization? Has it created any impact on the workers? Are workers who are having a work from home are satisfied out of it? So such kind of what we call as questions, if you answer through your research work, it becomes a very good research original article. We have another code is that we can see a little bit in detail each one of this. Review articles are an attempt to summarize the current state of understanding on the topic. A review article is representing a previously published material rather than reporting the new facts. For example, previously reported information. Take an example. Today, many a time in our class, we talk about Porter's 5 forces model. We talk about Pavlovian's classical conditioning theory. We talk about law of diminishing marginal returns of Marshall. So many kinds of things we discuss in the class. But have we ever tested that these concepts are still working? For example, the law of diminishing marginal utility, which was discussed by Marshall's economics theory, what he talks about is the more the consumption happens, the less the utility you will get out of it. There are conditions that he has implemented, like for example, the consumption should be continuous. It should be for certain kinds of items. There are certain exceptions to the rule and all that. Can you ever tested whether it is really working even in certain organizations? For example, the workers who are joined for the job, after a few years of a time, they lose the interest in the job because the monotonous job creates the less returns on their happiness. Happiness will be less over a period of time. So it is a law of diminishing returns. Can we change this by doing some change there? If I increase the salary, or if I give him a different work environment, or if I give him a certain time of what you call as a gap in his job, or promote him to the higher level, or give him a higher responsibility, will there be difference in his efficiency? Why does it happen? It is subject to that. Take one organization and study the employee's behavior, and based on that, you identify whether this diminishing utility is working or not. Would be a great contribution where the new generation will understand the old concept effectively. So like that, there are many ways where these principles can be applied and we can conduct the research. These are called as reviewing the old concepts with the new facts and figures and finding out the research. Another one is budget review articles and all that. Every time it comes in the newspapers, magazines, and even as a research article in many research papers. So that could also be because budget information is already available. And you just take it out and apply it to certain. Whether the new budget has created any impact on the foreign direct investment inflow in our country. If you want to test this, what are the changes happened? What will its impact after the 6 months of the time of implementing the new budget? Whether FDI is increased or decreased, what has happened? Is there any correlation between the budget and the change happening in the FDI inflow? This could be the review articles that we can go for. Original articles, these are also based on the empirical analysis. Normally, for the original articles, we collect the primary data, or sometimes it is experimental data. Primary data, please don't confuse. It is not only collected through survey, because whenever I ask the students of PhD, what is primary data? They say that is a first-hand collected data through survey. Not necessarily it should be a survey. It could be even observational study. It could be even experimental kind of a thing and all that. So by doing all that, if you generate a new figures out of that and present that particular thing, could be an original article. Experimental research could also be. In case of experimental research, it is normally a scientific research activity where you have a control on one variable and you are trying to check it on the other variable, how it happens. Two chemicals, one chemical, you have a control on that. You put it on the other chemical and see the reactions and find out the new out of it. So this is all experimental researches. So this kind of laboratory researches and all that are done by the technical people. But we being in the management field, I hope all the participants are from commerce field, right? So when we are in a commerce field, we are in the society, we are in the social science. So the experimental research could be behavioral analysis of the people towards the strategies implemented in the market, strategies implemented in the job of this thing, or the organizational strategies and its impact. These things you can have experiments through collecting the data. Next, we have book chapters. You might have already seen. You can contribute for the books published by certain publishers. They ask for contribution, research-based contributions for some chapters. For example, if the AI tools development things are coming in the market, if somebody wants to write a book on that, he will ask for people to contribute. AI in education, AI in medical science, artificial intelligence in the civil engineering, like that. They compile the different contributions from the researchers and make the book of that. That is where you are writing your book chapters, where you are remunerated for particular lineages, particular kind of articles what you submit, and you can have the patent of that also along with these things. So such kind of things, when the people refer that, your citation will also increase accordingly. So book chapters contribution is one more opportunity for the researchers in the field of publication career. You can publish your own books also. Many of faculty members over a period of time teaching the same subject, they will get the mastery over that, and understanding the requirement of the particular students, they can even write the books on their own. And there are new knowledges today. For example, in our business field, business analytics has emerged. Business analytical tools such as application of Python in decision making, or AI tools in decision making. There are no books available. Everything is only internet based, and studying each and every internet websites and all that, and collecting the data and compiling that and preparing for examination is a very difficult task for the students. Now, there is a good chance for the faculty members to write the books on this, so that when they write the compilation of all this, can also be a publication for them, and it will fetch them a very good this thing. Now we have two different types of publications. One is textbook publications, and another is general reading books like motivational, entertaining, technical writings and all that. You might have seen the Shiv Khera's You Can Win book has got a very much good award, blockbuster selling book. It has fetched him a lot of name and fame, and also a lot of money in that particular thing. And like that, Rasmi Bansal's Connect the Dots, Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish book, Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. These are all called as general writings. That is also possible to write down and attract the people towards that. If at all you have that acumen, you can even go for publishing these kind of things. Also, there is a career in this. Textbooks are also, for example, for particular university or particular syllabus, you can write down in the easiest way, so that people can easily buy or easily understand your concepts and all that. So you can sell it to that particular segment of the students who are under that particular university. So if it is accepted by the university authorities and published through university sites, you have a lot of royalty connected to that. Books are normally published through expert publishing houses. Most of the books are subject to copyrights. Books can be in the form of printed or online. Today, online publication is also possible. The another possibility of publication is a conference publication. If you are not able to publish in the research journals, you can have even conference publications. The new researchers, the people who are entering into the research field for the first time, if they want the feedback on their research activities, they can participate in conference things. Conferences are organized by the universities, institutions now and then, and they will be conducting the conference on particular theme. If you submit your paper article there, and if you are called for presentation, when you make a presentation, the committee will be giving their opinions, so that there will be more learning possibility. And some conferences which conference papers which are accepted by the conference will be coming out with the proceedings of the conference in the form of ISBN publications and all that. So there is a chance of getting your paper published there. So you have a citation and all kinds of things available for that also, is also one of the possibility. So it is made mandatory to all the faculty members here to at least attend 2 or 3 conferences in their domain area and develop the knowledges. When you attend a conference, there is not only a possibility of presenting a paper, but also you are able to hear the contributions made by other people, so that the total knowledge can also be developed in that. So that is one more possibility. Different ways of research publications. If you see, if you want to publish your these things, you have different ways of publication. One is academic and scientific journals. You have number of journals available. Trade journals are available, popular scientific magazines are available, and newspapers are also quite common possibles. Most of the what you call as writers can contribute to newspapers also. They can get the name and fame, and their idea will be communicated to people. You will get a lot of appreciations, a lot of remarks on your activities. That is also possible. Academic and scientific journal contributions, if you see, these types of journals are periodicals, often discipline specific, in the sense that if it is a management specific journals are there. They are called as academic and scientific journals in the field of management. Again, in the field of management, finance is another part of it, marketing is another part of it. You could find out what you call as knowledge related subjects. The related journals are available. So they are called as academic scientific journals. There are a number of journals available around you, so that you can take use of it and publish your ideas in that. And in this academic and scientific journal, you have hybrid journals, mega journals, and overlay journals. What is a hybrid journal? They are the traditional subscribed journals. Normally, subscribed, there are subscribers for this. One payment, if you make, you will get the several articles out of that particular subscription mode. So that is what we call as hybrid journals. We have mega journals, which are internationally identified. Mega topics are covered there. Such kind of journals are also available. You can publish there. Overlay journals are not the journals actually, but they are having the abstract list. So if you want to buy any information for your research activity and all that, that abstract, if you read and click there and pay the fees, it will take you to the particular published journal and you can download that. So that's called as such kind of nutshell journals are also available. You can have the publications in such kind of thing. Trade journals. Trade journals are the journals which are related to particular trade or profession. Like for example, medical related journals, law related journals. There are certain kinds of journals where the professionals will enhance their knowledge by reading these publications. For example, in the field of medical science, in the field of oncology. So the new innovations carried out in America, new innovations carried out in Germany will be published in the form of oncology journals, in the journals. Oncology journals are the feeding information journals for many practitioners in all other part of the world. So the professionals, especially doctors in the oncology, will update their knowledge looking at that. Recently, for example, the ibrutinib product, which was identified in America, has become quite common aware to many people for blood cancer. Ibrutinib is a very good source of this thing. Earlier, people used to undergo a chemotherapy, but this is an oral tablet which is reducing. Because of that, the prognosis, the span of death can be enhanced in this field. So this is made aware to people through the innovations made in one part of America and has come to that professionals to the other part of the world. And today, ibrutinib has covered almost all part of the world. Earlier, it was not in India, but recently, just 1.5 years back, you could find out even the ibrutinib available, medicine is available in India. So like that, there are many kind of innovations happening in this field. Even in the legal, these things also law. For example, if you want to cite a particular case and try to present it in the court of law, such kind of case publications are made through certain law journals. So that is what we call as trade professional journals. You have to subscribe for it, pay for it, and then only journal will be available. You can use that because they are all patented. Magazines, you know that magazines have little bit high span of survival, 15 days, 1 month, like that. Time of survival is mentioned. So these magazines could be business magazines or it could be economic magazines, like that. There are a number of magazines available. You can contribute your what you call as writing informations or your research work even in this magazines also. But unfortunate part is magazines don't have index citations and all that. So it will not be counted for your academic performance. That is why we always insist to publish your papers in the research journals rather than in trade journals or in magazines. Even in trade journals also you can do it. But for trade journals to publish your information, you must and should have a specific qualifications and membership. Then only you can do it. Otherwise, you cannot do that. Newspaper publications are concerned, it is on day-to-day basis on culture, science, economics, politics, society, entertainment, and all that. You can publish many kinds of articles in this also. But newspaper publications may help you to get the social recognition, but it may not be professionally supportive for you in many cases. How to prepare a research paper? When we are talking, the main goal of our this FDP program is to make the participants aware of the research papers rather than any other publications. Try to concentrate on research paper more. It could be even the review letter papers also, you can do that, but at least start the research paper preparations. How to begin the research paper? It is a big story. I may not be able to do all that. The basic information that I can give. First one is you have to choose a research topic for preparing the research paper. How to choose a research topic? First of all, you should be able to identify the research problem. Research problem should be supported with particular idea. Then you can come out with the research topic. Normally, most of the publishers, what they do is they identify their paper or the conference, what kind of a topic they are selecting. Based on that topic, they convert the research. They prepare the research paper. Such kind of expert researchers are also there. If you have a specific research idea, you can publish that research idea in the form of essay. So topic preparation is most essential. When you prepare the topic, the title of the research should include the objective of your research, limitations and all that. For example, it could be an impact of foreign direct investment on economic performance of the underdeveloped developing countries. If at all you want to talk this, it is a research ideal topic. Why? Foreign direct investment is a variable, economic development is a variable. Normally research talks about the relationship between the variables, or you are talking about some logic. So the topic will be more research topic because you can have dependent and independent variables easily available. If you collect the total amount of foreign direct investment entered in the country over a period of time and find its impact on the growth of the GDP, growth of the employment opportunities, growth of the profitability of the mergers and acquisitions happened with the foreign companies, you could be able to understand whether it has created a positive impact or negative impact, and based on that you can give a comment on that. So like that, we need to identify the research topic. Remember, any topic that you take up for the research activity should have a social relevance, should have a benefit to the public, and there should be a scope for further research activity possible in that. That's why it is the ultimate first step, very crucial step in the research paper writing, choosing the topic for the research. It should be acceptable and the research should have benefit. Outcome of that should have some impact on the society. It should be useful for some people. Then develop a research statement and decide the research objectives and hypotheses. Research objectives have to be specifically decided. Research objectives could be achieved either through the primary data or through the secondary data. How you are going to achieve those objectives, you have to mention specifically in that. For example, wanted to evaluate the performance of the IT sector in India. IT sector in India is one of the objectives of your research. So performance of the IT industries can be achieved through secondary data easily, because if you take the index of the sales, index of all that financial figures, you can easily identify the performance. You can also identify the performance of the employees, opinions of the employees through primary research also. So like that, you have to decide the objectives. Each objective should be achieved through that particular research analysis. Remember, it is not necessary that you should take 10, 12 objectives to make it more effective. Even 1 or 2 objectives for one particular research paper. And if you work hard particularly on that, and if it is properly collected the data and analysis is made, that research can become an effective research also. Collection, analysis and interpretation of data. Hypothesis, there is a huge discussion on that. I don't want to go in detail. It is a hunch that a researcher creates before undertaking a research. When he identifies there is a correlationship between FDI and the economic growth. So this is what the alternative hypothesis they normally develop, and they will test it with the result and with the research data that they collect, and either they will accept the null hypothesis or not. This is how the total blah blah is. So you need to undergo this kind of a technical analysis. What test I have to apply for testing the hypothesis and all that. So more crucial part of the research activities, substantially supporting your objectives and your hypothesis with the research data and make it more effective. Then create a research paper outline, how to present the paper outline. That is most important, because normally every research starts with abstract, because abstract is an index. Before going to the reader, before going through all the details of your research, you will just read the abstract. Once he reads the abstract, he will come to know the gist of it. It is a theme of your activity. So you have to prepare the outline, abstract, then introduction and all that steps you have to. Create a rough draft of the research report first, because in the initial draft, it will not be effective. And you have to redraft it again and again to make it more effective in discussing with all your experts around you. Take the help of certain kinds of literature people, take the help of your experts, guides and all that, and make it more effective. Because on the contrary, on your own single effort, research paper may not become that much effective if your knowledge, ability and writing skills are not good. Don't worry if you don't have good writing skills. Today, there are a lot of tools available, a lot of people available to help you. Take use of that. Initially, it becomes difficult. Later on, it becomes a character and they become the good researchers. This is my request to the new researchers who always lose the heart in publishing the data. Many think what happens, if at all I want to publish in a Scoopers Index journal, if I want to publish in high quality journals, whether my journal paper will be accepted or not. The reason could be the language barrier. If it is language is not up to the mark, if the words are not that much level, if the plagiarism is identified continuously because of a simple word usage, so there is a difficulty. So therefore, drafting is crucial and required to be tested again and again with the plagiarism things. Incorporate the suggestions of the reviewers and resubmit. Once you submit it, normally for any research journal, there will be a peer review. Your journal will go to the experts, they will review your journal, and based on that, your quality of the research will be marked out, and they will give you suggestions. If at all it can be accepted with the suggestions, incorporate those suggestions and resubmit it. If it is rejected, then identify what the reason it is rejected and try to work upon those weaknesses and next time come up with a very good result. But at any point of time, don't lose the heart once your research paper is rejected. Rejection should ignite more interest in you to take up the research activities. So research journal and research publication identification number, that everybody knows this ISSN number and ISBN number, because today what happened, because of the online presentations and all that, it is become very easy to trace your research activity, to trace your research work. So research authors are recognized provided if their research work is used by the public, used by the other people. If your research article is cited in somebody's others research work, so you will get the citation numbers also. That is why every research publication is given the number. One is called as ISSN number. Normally it is given for journals. ISBN is for books. And it is a new style of giving these things and all that. Just within last 20 years back, this has come into picture. Earlier, these citations, ISBN and all these things were not there. But right now, if you publish in ISSN number, you have identification in the list of presentations. Things. Remember, while you are publishing the article in any journals, please check whether it has an ISSN number or not. If it is not having an ISSN number, it is just like publishing in a newspaper, will not have any authentic contributions, or you will not get any API score for that particular thing. Even if it is ISSN, whether the circulation is good or not, H index is there or not, all these kind of things you need to identify, that we will discuss later on. So these are the two kinds of things. Next, important keywords used in the research journal. So normally most of the new researchers will have questions what these words are. What is citation? What is impact factor? What is H index? What is item index? What is patent? Normally these are the normal questions which come to new researchers. I hope if at all anybody is aware of this, please excuse me, because I thought this is also one of the important points to be discussed in this FDP program. What is citation? Citation is an identifies for the reader the original source for an idea, information, or image that is referred to in a work in the body of a paper. The in-text citation acknowledges the source of information used at the end of the paper. Citations are compiled on the reference or a works cited. Citation means from which source you have taken the information for your research work. Remember, there is a huge risk of plagiarism today happening. If you steal certain informations from certain sources and without giving the citation of that, if you publish, it becomes a criminal offense today in research publications. And remember one important thing today, every journal site publications, what you do can be easily traced out. And if at all there is any plagiarism happening out, if it is identified by the original writer, he may claim for the damages on you for stealing the information from his research work. Therefore, if at all you are using any idea of other researchers and using in your research activity, you have to give a citation of that in the reference. That is what we call as citation. Citation in the context, for example, FDI will flow from low capital demand country to high capital demand country. So this is the citation where Dr. Basavaraj Kudachimath has published this article. I have to mention that like this, and then giving the full details in the things. In the text itself, you can give this is what text citation. Then this can also be given in the reference under the API format, APA format, American Psychological Association, APA format. is given the format source, how your publication should be cited in your research. That is what we call as publication. APF format is followed standard format throughout the world today. Even for any kind of new researches and all that, if you are giving in the references, even in the PhD thesis, you should follow this format as a standard format for giving the references and citations of the work that you have done. For the first one is the author's name, second one is year, third one is title of the article from which you have taken the information, maybe book also. You can have this citation is a book. Then journal title, from which title you have taken, article title, journal title, name of the journal. Suppose if you have taken it from marketing journal or Indian Financial Journal, so you have to write that also, and volume also, and also page number. And if it is published through online sources, you have to give the citations, that is the URL number, URL address has to be mentioned there. So this is the standard format. If you do it, any kind of knowledge that you have used, the researchers' information, other researchers' things will not become the what you call as plagiarism. Okay. Next one is why citation is most essential in cases. To give credit to the source authors, you have to respect the original authors and give a credit to them because they have worked before you and they develop that particular knowledge. When you are using their knowledge from their publications, if you are using, you have to give them some what you call as identification. That is what citation is must. To help your audience, reader, find out more about your research, arguments, ideas, and topics. If at all any reader of your journal wanted to know something detail about the cited information, he can go to that particular site or go to the particular book or go to particular journal, and he can read extensively that particular original writing from which you have taken the idea for your publications. That is one more idea. So to help the readers to enhance the possibility of getting the original source for his knowledge. To strengthen your work, to be providing outside support to your idea, strengthen the work. That is one more requirement to avoid plagiarism issues. That is most important. Citation, if you give it in your references, if you mention, so there is a less chance of any plagiarism issues in your publications. That is most essential. Next one is, why do I need to cite any this thing? When you use words, thoughts, ideas, etc. of someone else, you have to give a citation. When should you use the citation? Whenever you use any thoughts, ideas of somebody else, you have to mention that particular thing. Suppose, for example, you have taken the 5 forces Porter's information model for strategy building. And if you have taken it from that particular Porter's book, you have to mention the book and everything, because Porter, even if he is not knowing that you have stolen it, but it is the culture and it is the attitude that you should develop to give his citation must and should. When you directly quote any information from some books and all that, for example, definitions, for some examples of the concepts, if you are directly copying, you have to compulsorily give the citation. When you paraphrase certain informations directly, if you are collecting that also, when you use or reference an idea or thought that has already been expressed by somebody else, in that case also you should give a citation. Anything which is not your own, and if you are getting it from some sources authentically, that particular idea, then you have to quote that. When you make any references to another source, when others' idea, words or thoughts have influenced your writing and research, for example, if you are expressing the views of some authors, in that case, you have to give the citation compulsory. What is the impact factor? Very crucial one. Most of the people today are wanted to know what the impact factor is. Impact factors are used to measure the importance of the journal. Citation is the responsibility of the researcher. Okay, he has to quote the word things which he has taken from other researchers and mention it in your research. Impact factor is the measuring the quality of the journal, how the journal quality is. Impact factors are used to measure the importance of the journal by calculating the number of times selected articles are cited within the last few years. For example, if the last few years, how many times these journal articles have been quoted by the public, by the users, that talks about the importance of the journal. Any journal article is published, if it is not read by any researcher or any other people, such journal has a less importance. such journal have less importance. Therefore, minimum citation needs to be there to call it as a research journal. So therefore, journals are always producing a qualitative article publications in order to help the other people to use in their things. So therefore, renowned journals are referred frequently by the researchers, other readers, and they use the information for their things. When they use it, like you are citing the others' contribution, your contribution will also be cited by others. So likewise, when they are cited, the journal citation impact factor is calculated. Journal impact factor is calculated. Impact factor can be calculated after completing the minimum of 3 years. Remember, any new journal which is introduced in the market will not have any citations unless and until it completes 3 years. After the 3rd year, old things which have been cited will come into picture and you can calculate the citation factors. So for that reason, journal, if cannot be calculated, the citation number cannot be calculated for new journals. Journal with the highest impact factor is the one that is published the most commonly cited articles over a 2 years period. The impact factor applies only to journals, not to individual articles or individuals. It is for a journal quality. Citation talks about the quality of the journal. Sorry, impact factor talks about the quality of the journal. The more the impact factor, the higher is the quality of the journal. So therefore, if you want to select any journal for publication of your article, please identify one of the parameter of testing the quality of the journal is its impact factor. If the higher the impact factor, then you choose that one minimum required. So that is how. The citation, this Clarivate web of journals headquartered in London calculates the declares the impact factor, and today even Scopus is also having that, and Google Scholar is also trying to do that. So impact factors and all these things are calculated by these softwares, and they qualify the journals with that particular thing. Now the next word is H index. H index is the calculation of the author's quality of the research. So impact factor is for journal and H index factor is for researchers. If at all H index of the author, it is individually calculated for authors. For example, if my H index is higher, it means that if my H index is 4.5 or 10, it means that my published articles have been cited for 10 times by 10 people in different places of the world. That is what it talks about. It means that your quality of research contribution is admired by many people and they have used that particular new idea in their further researches. That is what your H index will be calculated and you will be assigned with it. If you go to Google Scholar and type your name there, and if you have published articles in the good research journal, automatically your H index is calculated by the Google Scholar and it will be depicted there. The higher the H index factor, the higher the citations that have been made for your research paper by other researchers. That is what we call as H index. That is H index is calculated by Google Scholar, Web of Science and Scopus. The higher is the H index value, the higher is the quality of the research work of the business. I would have explained with an example here, but time is very short. I may not be able to take up this assignment. Next. I-10 index is one more calculation of this thing. It is developed by the Google recently. I-10. What is I-10 means? The author I-10 index is the number of articles published by an author that have received at least 10 citations. Impact factor can be, H index can be less than 10. It could be 5, it could be 6. What is the 6 means? Out of the total publications that you have made, your average citation of your publication is 6 times by others is a H index. If it is 10 or something else, it is classified as 10 index, I-10 index by Google, and it is renowned as the highest rank in the researching activity. So such research scholars are highly admired. So NAC and all other people which are evaluating the accreditation process and all that, they will look into the quality of teacher through looking into H index and I-10 index of the individual faculty members. If a lot of faculty members have a I-10 index, so its quality of the faculty is very high. That is how the NAC authorities consider. And if the H factor is also good, that is also considered. So the old art researchers, who have already published several number of research publications, if their I-10 index is less than 10, sorry, if their I-10 index is not there, it means that their quality of work is not that much superior. You can say like that. So this is one of the parameters of evaluating this. What is patent? Patents are the right, what you call as rights generated to an inventor that allows them to intellectual property right. You might have seen that patents today comes under intellectual property right. Any of your new knowledge can be registered like an asset where you cannot nobody can steal that asset. Like that your new researches, new contributions made in the society can be patented. Once you patent it, anybody who is using your resources, you cannot use it without your permission. And if at all you are expecting certain kinds of fees and payments for that, he has to pay you and use it. That is why we call as patent in layman terms. There are 3 types of patents that you can create as a researcher. One is design patent. Anyone who creates a new design for the product can apply for a design patent. Examples include beverage bottles. Think of the shape of the Coca-Cola container. Any kinds of new innovations that you have made. Recently, one of our students in the college, in the technical college, has invented for particularly it is an application of sensor, the remoting sensor to a water heater. See, water kettle, water heater, kettle, new kettle. You can switch it off and switch on that water kettle without touching the water kettle from the far distance. It is nothing but using the television remote sensor and applying it in the what you call as kettle. That's a new innovation idea. He has patented that. And recently, that Milton has purchased his patent, and they paid a huge amount of royalty for using that particular thing. So there are a lot of innovations happen. That is a designing patterns and all that. Even for plants in the field of agriculture also, if you identify any kinds of new manure which can enhance the quality of the fruit or flower, or if you develop any new kinds of hybrid plant forms and all that, you can register those also as a patent. Today is possible. This is also called as a research activity. Utility patent means anyone who invents, discovers any new useful utility of that particular thing can also be patented. For your kind information, today the turmeric powder, which every one of us know, turmeric powder is used for allergies and all that as a medicines in Indian context. But unfortunate part is its usage is patented by Americans. They call this turmeric as a curcumin, and they experimented this curcumin in killing the cancer cells in an Ayurvedic way. And they have experimented it and proved it and registered as a patent. And today, if at all, even Indians wanted to use this turmeric as a medicine in the form of curcumin, that is the essence of the turmeric, you have to pay patents to that particular American company. This is how they have taken things from us. Everybody knows it, but research was conducted and proved in the experimental way, and that is considered as a medicine by the medicine authority of the country. So this is how research happens many a time. That is a utility patenting and all that you can. You can even make the copywriting of your research work and also patent your research work, that is publications also. Patents in publications, these researchers can patent their published works, that it can be protected from copying and using the content. The use of the articles can be restricted only to subscribers. It is also known as copyright. Normally, the authors who publish books can get the copyright restricting to duplicating their work by the others. And even publishing houses who are publishing your books will ask for the patents, will ask for that particular copyright, whether you want to retain copyright or whether you want to sell them. If you sell them, one-time royalty will be given to you, and they will use that republications and all that on their own without asking you any permissions. But if you retain your copyright with you and only sell the authority of publishing the duplicate copies, then they will publish only 1,000 or 2,000 copies, and after that, if they want to reprint it, they have to seek the permission from you again by paying you the royalty. So there are various things that you can create the kind of things here. Journals, we are moreover concentrating on peer-reviewed journals. Today, most of the research journals are peer-reviewed journals. What is peer review? Peer review or referred journals have an editorial board of subject experts who reviewed and evaluated submitted articles before accepting them for publication. So now I'm talking out of my own experience because I'm a peer review member for many good journals in the scoopers and in certain kinds of things. Many articles will come to us. So where we have to give expert opinions. What are the various weaknesses that we identify in the young researchers while we read their research articles? Abstract is well defined and everything is well defined. The major problem that will be emerging there, the data collected may not be matching with the objectives or may not be matching with the title of the the questionnaire that they have made may not contain all the objectives necessary for that, or the sample design what they have collected to prove the hypothesis or to test that particular things or define the quality of that particular research work may not be appropriate. Many people have a confusion relating to sample size, whether it is a probability sampling or non-probability sampling. They use recklessly certain words like simple random system. See, simple random system is not possible in most of the social researches where you are collecting the data from the through the questionnaire or through the schedule, because the bowl size you cannot aware of it. If at all you are conducting a market survey for electronic vehicles which are introduced in the market, how the customers response towards these electronic products, can you have a possibility of any kinds of these probability sampling method? You cannot have probability sampling method because there is no list of the electrical vehicles of the country available in one single website where you can select only people from that list. So normally what you do, you apply convenience sampling, which is non-probability. So these are the mistakes normally committed by most of the people, and these articles are rejected at the end. So even if you ask them to change that particular thing, see, if I change the word, the whole process of research will also get changed. One of the researcher I told, your sampling method needs to be simple, judgmental sampling rather than stratified random sampling, because you cannot go for a probability. He submitted the report back again, just changing that particular line, mentioning that this thing. But if it is non-probability, and if you are written as a probability, the test applications will also change. For example, if it is a probability sampling size, parametric test will be applied. If it is non-probability, non-parametric tests are applied. So the people don't have that much of idea that if I change this word, my research journal will be accepted, because the outcome will be totally disturbed if at all you do not make the further changes in your analysis also, in your pattern of data collection and analysis tools also, they vary. Z-test and T-test are applied only for parametric tests, whereas chi-square and other tests will be for non-parametric many a time. So you should have the knowledge of that to get accepted by the peers who are reviewing the journals. So that is one more information I will give you. Now the next important point in today's discussion, as it is a social responsibility that we should follow ethics everywhere, and there is a publication ethics also. Understand and try to incorporate. This is a healthy attitude that every researcher should imbibe in him. Today, we are not feeling bad to steal anything. But unfortunate part is, if at all you are stealing something and if you are caught, you will be considered as a culprit and will be punished under the law. At least for that sake, we need to be ethical. Even if we may not be, there is a saying that all people are good if there is no opportunity. If there is any opportunity to commit a mistake, people will commit it if they are not getting caught. So that is a majority people. So today ethics has to be compulsorily followed, because there is a lot of what you call as legal framework available for the publications. Therefore, you have to publish. Your publication will have value only if you publish in a high quality research standard journals. Adhere to the highest standard of applicable laws accepted to publication guidelines and ethical guidelines on role, associated responsibility, and authorship and content. Therefore, it is possible only if you are publishing in a very good impact factor and very good cited journals. Then you can have this ethical practice automatically come, because unless and until you declare plagiarism is not there, unless and until you give the substantial evidence of testing it through tools, these journals will not publish your journals. They will publish your articles. Therefore, adhere to that. That's very important. Next one is ensure the timely responding and publication of all study results, regardless of the outcome. Remember, you don't worry about the outcomes. Please go with the particular data what you have collected. Genuine data has to be taken into care and analysis has to be taken. Today, what has happened, most of the young researchers are in the mindset that whatever the hypothesis they have taken as an alternative hypothesis should be accepted. When the alternative hypothesis is accepted only, their research is successful. This is a myth in their mind, actually. Sometimes what happens, you might have assumed something and reality is something else. If the reality is not matching with your assumed value, assumed thing, you accept the reality and blame yourself that your hypothesis was wrong. What is the harm in rejecting your alternative hypothesis when the null hypothesis is at the point of acceptance? So we commit type 2 mistake every time because we are more egocentric and we claim that we have a lot of experiences. Therefore, we may not be able to accept those kinds of things. Please don't do that. For the purpose of accepting the hypothesis, that is alternative hypothesis, what they have committed, they manipulate the data and bring the outcome as per their expectations, which is very wrong. Please understand, have these ethical values in your publications. Ensure the accuracy and completeness and lack of bias in publications. Remember, whatever the information you are publishing, it should be unbiased. Information should be gathered with an unbiased way. If I want to prove that I am good, I will ask questions only to those people who like me. Your friends may always talk good about you. It doesn't mean that you are good everywhere. So when you want to have that analysis, whether you are good or bad, 360-degree of evaluation is required. Not only your friends, other part of your professional life, other part of the people whom you contract should also give the opinion about you. Then the opinion will be having a more weightage. That is why while you are collecting the data, try to collect the substantial data which can sufficiently prove the information and have an unbiased kind of a collection of data. Don't have a bias just to prove your hypothesis is correct. Providing the clinical trial registry members of any trials and all that, use of statistical tools, whether it is what you call as having the sense or not in the data that you have collected, whether it is, for example, Cronbach's alpha test is done to test whether the validity is there with the questionnaire or not. What you are expecting, whether the same response is given by the pilot sample people from whom you have collected the data. If you collect the data from 50 people, before collecting from 1,000 people, you collect it from 50 people, and that test result is tested through Cronbach alpha test. And if it shows negative, don't go for that, change that. Most of the people, what they do is they change the samples, respondents. They say that these people are not answering me properly, then I should go to them. And they will select only those people who are giving the information according to their weightage of the questionnaire. So this is very wrong. Please understand, if it is wrong, change your mindset and change your attitude and bring that particular thing. So research should always bring the reality into picture. Research should not be influenced by biases. Strictly avoiding a plagiarism. Remember, plagiarism should be avoided. We may use informations of the other sources from the other researchers, but you should always cite that. Now, in most of the cases, plagiarism is up to 10% in university PhD thesis. You can copy certain kinds of things, images and all that from other things, but you cannot copy more than 10%. It should be original report of your own. That is how you should read many articles, but redraft it in your own way, what you have understood out of that. So that should be the way of reducing the plagiarism. In certain cases, it is acceptable to 10%, 20% and all that. So better to reduce the plagiarism to a minimum level. And if at all plagiarism is there, check whether it has got a references. If it is references, referenced cited information should be avoided out of testing the plagiarism, and then you can check the plagiarism accordingly. Plagiarism issues in publication, that is quite common, that I have already discussed. Plagiarism has been defined as a Encyclopedic Britannia as the act of taking the writings of other persons and passing them off one's own, taking from the others and labeling it that it is our own idea. This is what we call as plagiarism. Plagiarism is the use of others' published and unpublished ideas or words without attributing or permission and presenting them as a new and original rather than delivered from an existing source. The internet and the effect of plagiarism is to mislead the readers as to the contributions of the plagiarizers. This applies whether the ideas or the words are taken from the abstracts, research grant, applications, institutional reviews and all that, board of applications. So now there is not so easy to hide the plagiarism because internet And open sources are easily identifying the plagiarism, and it will also identify the source from which you have taken, because the data what you have taken is already published somewhere and it is already indexed and it is already cited. So therefore, that kind of citations can easily be identified by the plagiarism softwares. Please aware of it. Why do people normally plagiarize? Because of ignorance. They don't know that what I am stealing is identified. So plagiarism normally happens. Lack of knowledge on the ethics or scholarly writing, poor writing skills, and ambition to write more research papers, or fierce competition. I want to get more citations and all that. With that particular fond, people may get into plagiarism. And if it is caught, it is very insulting situation. Then pressure from the seniors. Normally, research guides pressurize their research scholars to publish more, but idea of publication is not there. Normally, they go for plagiarism and try to manipulate that and do it. Fast publications, publish or perish system, applying that knowledge that I must and should publish. So many people will indulge into plagiarism. Next, plagiarism softwares. There are many softwares which I identify. That is Turnit, Urkun, Authenticate. Then open sources like Check Plagiarism Detector. See, they're all available today with everyone. You can, before publishing, before sending it for acceptance for researches and all that, you just check your article whether it is free from plagiarism or not. If you identify plagiarisms, try to avoid those things and try to bring in your own way, so that plagiarism quantum can be reduced. So it is going to help you all in this way. So body of the research article, how the research article should be: research paper title, author details, abstract, then introduction, main part of the research, findings and conclusions and references. This is the normal body. If you read any research article published in any standard journal, you will be coming to know all this. Research paper title should always depict the nature and type of research what you have done. Title should be very apt and effective, perfectly. When somebody reads it, he will come to know what the things are about. It should not be like a advertising punchline. Thanda matlab Coca-Cola should not be like that. It should be like variable identifications and all that. So we conduct normally the workshops on all this: how to frame a title, how to go for the abstract, how to write the abstract. Abstract will be having the keywords at the end. So it will help any user, the reader, before going through your research article, read the abstract. It is a gist of your research activity. If he likes that, he will read further. So that is how the abstract should be. Main part of the research, where we are going to submit all that information in the form of tables, graphs, analysis tools and all that, hypothesis testing things and all that. And then we go for findings and conclusions, and we mention the references. This is what the research article is. So I'm thankful to everyone for patience listening. I don't know how best I have satisfied your expectations. It is a one-way round. So I tried my level best to present. Any questions you have, you can raise it. Thank you. Thank the Achievers College for giving me an opportunity.
Anybody has any questions? Can please address them in the chat box.
Yes, sir. Are there any questions?
Just check.
Sir,
Just a minute, sir. Okay.
Harsha ma'am,
Yes.
can I ask one question, please?
Sure.
Sir, it was a wonderful session, sir. But my question is, there are certain competitive, nowadays there are people who are doing like maximum research work. So in that research, people are following AI also. Like, you have mentioned about the plagiarism and chat, like, with the chat GPT.
Yes.
They all are using to implement the papers. So
Correct.
what exactly we should follow for the same? Because people are taking help of chat GPT.
No, the point is chat GPT is okay. I don't have any objections in using a chat GPT, but remember what the chat GPT gives you the outcome. It is out of the research that has already been conducted. Chat GPT is not creating on its own. It is compiling already the edited information. If you use chat GPT information as it is and try to publish it out, plagiarism will easily be identified, because I've already tested ChatGPT information. When you put under Orbit or some things else, it will identify the source from which the ChatGPT is taken. So remember, don't use ChatGPT for publishing as it is. But ChatGPT will definitely help you to get some contents, some ideas where you can develop your research topics effectively. So it will give you the inputs to think in that particular direction. If you ask to frame out that particular topic, for example, if you talk don't use same as it is, because if the same keyword is used by another person, ChatGPT will give the same result. That is the problem of the ChatGPT. Please don't go for it. Today, you have a lot of AI tools, but be assured that AI tools are giving you the inputs, but that should not be the only content of your research. Okay, hope I have answered.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Really.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for a wonderful and insightful session, sir. We're really happy and delighted to have you today on this platform of the 5 days FDP, and we're very privileged enough to hear you on the first day itself. As we come to an end of this first day of the FDP, there are a few instructions that I would like to highlight, and then we can quickly move to the vote of thanks session. The group that is being formed for this FDP, there are many participants, and some of them have not yet paid the fees of the FDP. So requesting all kindly to the needful, and you all can share the screenshots with us, of course. And secondly, to get the certificate, every day, every session has a feedback form that will be sent to your group. So session 1, there will be a different feedback form. Session 2, there will be a different feedback form, and likewise. So requesting all to please make sure that you fill the feedback forms regularly so that there is no confusion while distributing the certificates. Thank you so much, everyone, for this wonderful and patience hearing. All the speakers, I'm sure, were wonderful, and I'm sure that many all the staff have, all the faculties have gained a lot of knowledge. Moving quickly to the vote of thanks, I request Kavita madam to please propose the official vote of thanks and announce the day. Over to you, Kavita madam.
Yes. Thank you, Harsha ma'am. I, Mrs. Kavita Karambilkar, take the privilege on behalf of Achievers College of Commerce and Management, would like to propose a sincere word of thanks to our motivation and inspiration, Chairman Dr. C.M. Bhivandikar, sir. I would like to thank Dr. Valmik Sarode, Vice President of MCA, our inaugural guest speaker, Dr. B.B. Taiwade, sir. I am thankful to our Chitole, sir, who is again a motivation and support system of Achievers College of Commerce and Management. Eventually, our vice principals who took the efforts to make this particular FEP to conduct smoothly, and it's the first day of our FEP today. Our session one coordinator and speakers, I thanks to them also. And our speaker, Dr. H.P. Deshpande, sir, who has really made sense to make the goal settings. And last but not the least, I thank our today's session two speaker, Principal Dr. Basavaraj Kudachimath from the Department of Management Studies, VIT Karnataka. He has guided us a wonderful information about the research publications in the pathway for the career building. And it is wonderful session where we definitely got the information, how the research should be, how the patents are, how to publication, make with the publications in different books, make your own, you can be an authors of different kinds of papers. After patent publication, how to make the different kinds of like the plagiarism tools also, how to go for the plagiarism, how to make your topic confident. Everything he has guided in our session too. I'm really thankful to our online who is supporting to make the conduction of this event, our technology team, our patrons and our advisory committee. I'm thankful to everyone who have joined the meeting, who has attended the today's FEP, and I hope this particular connect will be there for the next upcoming days, and that will be the wonderful communication for the new upcoming trends in the teaching minds. wherein this will definitely support empowering educators' mind. That is our first thought, and we all are making it successful with everyone. And I hope this will be the successful event for the first day. Thank you so much for your kind cooperation.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Kavita, madam.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Harsha, madam.
Thank you so much.
Educator
Thank you,
sir,
everyone.
thanks for
Thank
your
you.
kind cooperation, giving me an opportunity. Thanks a lot. Thank you, sir.